Wrestling can have some really amazing gimmick matches, whether it's a Hell in a Cell match, a steel cage match done right, a hardcore match. There's any number of amazing feuds and matches that culminate with these non-typical standard one-on-one or two-on-two matches that just really add to the drama and excitement of professional wrestling. But on the flip side of that, there's also the absolute wacky nonsense that is just so bad, it's very rarely good. It's just bad. So I am Reese from the Wrestling Hideout, and this is 10 of the worst gimmick matches of all time. Number 1, the Kennel from Hell. Now, Unforgiven 1999, the Big Boss Man and Al Snow take their heated rivalry, which included the Big Boss Man killing Al Snow's dog and then feeding him it. I mean, this shit only happened in the Attitude Era. This led to one of the worst wrestling gimmick matches in the history of any wrestling promotion for the hardcore title. A steel cage that was surrounded by a cage similar to a Hell in a Cell, and on the floor, in between the cages, are Rottweiler dogs. The bell rings before the Big Boss Man's even inside the second cage, and before the dogs even appear. Now, to his credit, Jim Ross does his best to make the dogs seem like a dangerous threat, but as soon as the first dog walks into the cage, it just pees all over the floor, and the match only gets worse from there. After 4 minutes, the crowd is silent, and then boo, and then chant boring, before a deathly silence just takes over the whole arena, with nothing other than the dogs, who honestly couldn't care anything about the wrestlers, they're just barking at each other. It's 10 minutes of garbage and shit. Actual dog shit surrounding the ring. Number 2, Judy Bagwell on a pole. Now, this is prime WCW nonsense at its finest. At New Blood Rising, Kanyon and Buff Bagwell take part in Judy Bagwell on a pole. Now, a Psych on a pole match is already a bad enough gimmick in my opinion, so how do you make it even worse? You put Judy Bagwell on a pole for reasons. Even before the match starts, Tony Schiavone has one of the greatest lines I think I've ever heard. He says, "The match is called Judy Bagwell on a pole. Guess what? It's Judy Bagwell on a pole." Yeah, that tells you how bad this is. Now technically she's on a forklift, which somehow makes this worse, because at least in a pole match, like, the item that they collect can be used in the match. Instead, this is just a singles match with Buff and Kanyon, with Buff's mum watching from above. It's really weird, and it's not even a good singles match at that. Honestly, just writing about this match has left me speechless, let alone having to watch it again. Number 3, the Doomsday Cage. Now, this is WCW Uncensored 1996. What happens when you put 3 cages on top of each other? You put 8 heels with some recognisable names inside, and then have them try to stop Hulkamania? Well, Hulk Hogan beats them all, and Randy Savage helps him to his credit. But obviously Hogan's the star of the show. There's no better way to hurt the credibility of your heels than to have Hogan beat 8 of them in one match. The match entails Hogan and Savage starting on top of the cages and having to work their way down the floors, full of different wrestlers until they reach the ring at the bottom where pinfall can take place. This is a 25-minute mess that involves the Booty Man helping Hogan and Savage by giving them frying pans, like actual frying pans. Who knows? A bad guy that WCW originally called the Final Solution. Obviously that was a great choice. That didn't get them into any trouble. WCW couldn't even be smart enough to put the actors and crappy wrestlers in the top cell. That was just very wobbly, so all the wrestlers could do was like hit and choke each other. Instead they put Arn Anderson and Ric Flair on top, which is probably the 2 best wrestlers in this match, so they just can't do any wrestling moves. At one point, the wrestlers get so fed up with the cages, they walk down the stairs outside the cages to the floor and then brawl to the actual main wrestling ring, skipping the bottom level of the cage and the ring there, just leaving half the wrestlers looking on. Then Tony Schiavone claims that all the enemies have gone, they've basically been eliminated, and then half of them come back, so commentary don't even know what's going on. Everything about this match is a shit show, from the creation of the idea to the final bell. Even the ending is messed up because they don't even know how to win the match. Number 4, the Triple Cell. Now, this is similar to the Doomsday Cage, but for this example, I'm going to be using War Games 2000 from September 4th, 2000. This is a bastardization of the War Games match. 3 cages of smaller ascending sizes are placed over the ring, 2 teams who enter at 2-minute intervals, and the idea of the match is that they fight their way up through the cages to collect the championship at the top, but then they have to fight back down the cages to take the championship belt out through the door. It's a terrible Vince Russo idea that visually does look pretty cool, but it's just a mess. This feels like a match that was created to rival the Hell in a Cell, but it just doesn't work. And to make things even worse, the story of the match and the storyline going into the match and the ending is so nonsensical and just designed to be a very obvious, stupid and pointless swerve. It just doesn't give this match any credibility. Number 5, the Blindfold Match. Now, plenty of companies have done these, and they're all terrible. The Blindfold Match, a match where the novelty of the gimmick is that the wrestlers can't see each other, wears off really quick. These matches literally just involve the men pretending to feel in front of themselves, swinging randomly, usually mixing the ref up for another wrestler, and the heel cheating, usually by lifting his blindfold up to win. Please just keep these away from wrestling. Please. Number 6, the Chamber of Horrors. Now we're jumping back over to early WCW for this one, and I have to admit, this is my guilty pleasure match. I've loved this match since I was a little 5-year-old watching it on VHS. The concept of the match, however, absolutely awful. 2 teams fight it out to put someone in an electric chair and turn it on, electrocuting them. Now the saving grace of this match is that the teams themselves are full of incredible talent, such as Sting, the Steiner Brothers, Scott Hall, Vader, Cactus Jack, and so on. But the match is pure crap. There's coffins around the ring with people inside, there's ghouls that come out, there's Rick Steiner with a chainsaw, and the electric chair gets lowered to the ring like some weird 70s horror shock film. It has a really cool ref cam, but even the name of the ref cam is dogshit, so it makes the chaos easier to follow, but overall everything is just so bad that it's good. The ending of this match sees Abdullah the Butcher getting electrocuted by his own team member, which, never mind. And honestly, I can't do this justice. You just need to watch this. It's a travesty, but it's kind of good. Number 7, the House of Horrors match. Now, sticking with the Halloween theme, this time we turn our attention to the House of Horrors from Payback 2017. A match that starts in Bray Wyatt's House of Horrors and ends in the ring, which is already a terrible idea. This match lasts for 20 whole minutes combined, and features the men brawling through a house, Randy Orton walking through interacting with spooky things, and like the light switches going off and all that stupid stuff. The men then drive to the arena, or at least Bray does. He has a driver drive him, and then Orton reappears. Mercifully, it's the first and hopefully last of these matches. Number 8, the Electrified Steel Cage. Now, you probably noticed a theme. We have Vince Russo on this list a lot. And if you ever needed proof that he was working with TNA, then look no further than the Electrified Steel Cage match between Team 3D and LAX from Lockdown 2007. Now, this could have just been a regular cage match, and these guys could have had an intense fight and done what all 4 men do best and just brawl and bleed, and it could have been so good. Instead, we got this. A match where the claim is the current is flowing through the steel cage, something that would be quickly disproved as both men would use the cage to help themselves back up to their feet and all sorts. So what happens when the cage is active? Let's forget about that. Well, it's clearly just some dude in the back just flicking the light switch on and off, or something. But that's only when they remember to do it, because there's instances they don't expect the wrestlers to purposely put the other wrestler on the cage so nothing happens. It's just really goofy. This is the type of gimmick match that, done properly, would have probably been really good, but this was so far from it. Number 9, the King of the Road match from Uncensored. Big old whiplash on this event. WCW graced us with the King of the Road match. A match that takes place on the back of a flatbed truck. Both Dustin Rhodes and Blacktop Bully brawl amongst a bunch of hay on the back of a truck. The men can hardly move around without falling over, whether it's because of the moving truck or the fact that there's just hay everywhere. The truck has to visibly slow down on every corner to ensure the men don't die or something. There's so much more about this match I could tell you that doesn't fit the theme of this video, but at least it features some cool helicopter shots. Overall, absolute waste of time to watch, and probably a waste of time for WCW to produce, especially for someone of the caliber of Dustin Rhodes. And number 10, the Zombie Lumberjack match. Yeah, this is a real thing. Now, Lumberjack matches are kind of whatever. They're just single matches where the people outside the ring get to throw some forearms when someone goes outside the ring. But what happens when paid promotion infects wrestling? The Lumberjacks are zombies to advertise Army of the Dead. It's as crap as it sounds, as The Miz and Morrison run away from zombies before Priest and Miz have a lackluster match where they fight each other as much as the zombies outside, and it ends with Morrison getting pulled down to the abyss and the Miz being eaten alive by zombies but not being eaten alive. They sort of just hug him. Thankfully it only lasts 7 minutes and then we're put out of our misery. So those were 10 of the worst gimmick matches in the history of wrestling. There are so many others that could go on this list, and I'm sure I can make another top 10 list soon. But let me know in the comments below, are any of these matches your guilty pleasure, like mine is the Chamber of Horrors? Is there anything on this list that you think was actually good? Anything you think should have been on this list more than others? Let us know in the comments below. If you haven't already, please drop a like on the video, it helps us amazingly. Subscribe to the Wrestling Hideout for more videos such as this, and hopefully we will see you all in the next one. Bye guys.